For every rebirth, there must be a return, and if the Earth's mightiest heroes ever hope to reclaim their world from the Squadron Supreme and Mephisto, they're going to have to fight tooth and nail. All this and more in the pages of Heroes Return, issue number 1, the grand finale of Jason Aaron's Heroes Reborn storyline. Let's hop on in together and find out what happens next, shall we? Alrighty then, so as we join the book, we check back on in with the villain of the piece, President Phil Coulson. He feels that the walls are closing in around him now that the Avengers have returned and now that the Squadron refuses to take his calls. And as such, Phil has opted to take matters into his own hands, using the Helahedron, also known as the Pandemonium Cube, the item gifted to him by Mephisto to recreate this world, to preserve it, even if it means killing everyone who gets in his way. And in fact, he knocks off quite a few characters in his own cabinet on his way to the big fight in Wakanda. How does President Coulson get there? Well, via flying car, of course. Coulson may be evil, but he's still very much Coulson, and that means a love for flying cars, don't you know? Now over in Wakanda, the Squadron and the Avengers are already squaring up for an epic battle. Hyperion and Thor have themselves a god-level smack-up. Power Princess vows to kill yet another Phoenix in her battle with Echo, who has only recently become the Phoenix and is already getting one hell of a baptism by fire over it. Starbrand's dance partner turns out to be Dr. Spectrum, and the new superpowered toddler obviously has even more reason than ever to want to take the fight to Spectrum, what with him being the one who killed her guardian, this world's Rocket Raccoon. Now, of course, you don't need me to tell you that the Squadron Supreme are supposed to represent the Justice League, and this basically is a reason for Jason Aaron to write a League versus Avengers fight. I find it interesting that while everyone else has paired up with their counterpart, it's Black Panther who actually gets paired up with the super speedster known as Blur. If only because despite King T'Challa's many amazing powers, super speed is usually not among them, except for this time where he says that because his suit is made of vibranium and vibranium used to be a comet and it can be again, the two get into a good old-fashioned superpowered foot race. Captain America forgoes this fight completely and takes the battle directly to President Coulson. We're also reminded that one of his fighter jet escorts just so happens to be Carol Danvers. Oh yeah, that's right, she was an Avenger too, but they didn't try and recruit her, or Iron Man for that matter. I was really excited to finally get to see the showdown between Steve and Coulson. Naturally, there's so much left unsaid between these two following the events of Secret Empire. The only problem is this version of Steve doesn't remember any of that stuff. In fact, even though it hasn't been brought up in a bit, the only person who still actually remembers the world 100% how it used to be is Blade. He thinks that it's probably because of his own connection to the paranormal, and this being a paranormal reboot job, that's why he can see through Mephisto's tricks. For what it's worth, I think the fight between Blade and Nighthawk might actually be my favorite in the whole series, mainly because the Daywalker goes out of his way to completely dress down this Batman stand-in, saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, did you have one bad day and it turned you into a giant megalomaniacal asshole?" Well, guess what? When you're Blade, every day is a bad day, and yet somehow I still manage to get up, still manage to maintain, and still manage to kill suckheads wherever they may be. Nighthawk, also being the Batman stand-in, eventually riddled out how he and the rest of the Squadron have been played by Phil Coulson and Mephisto, but it's already too late in the game right now, and he doesn't so much seem to care. Though it is interesting that eventually the Avengers get the upper hand in this fight by taking on and defeating the more zealous members of the Squadron Supreme. First with Dr. Spectrum, then Princess Zarda with the ancient powers of the Starbrand and the Phoenix Force uniting again for the first time in centuries to defeat another god-level foe. Also, despite Hyperion at first seemingly being more powerful than Thor, he is ultimately defeated himself because, get this, he's weak to vibranium, because vibranium comes from the planet that he was originally from, meaning that it's his kryptonite. Holy shit. I have to wonder, is this a Jason Aaron retcon, or is this just a piece of cruel irony cooked into this new universe by Mephisto? Who's to say for sure? Cap is ultimately able to grab the Pandemonium Cube away from Coulson, who is suspiciously able to escape during this battle, and the Starbrand and Phoenix Force use their god-level powers to help return everything to normal. Though perhaps not 100% normal, the Avengers and the Squadron still retain their memories of everything that happened during the time that the world was different, even the ways in which the Squadron may have actually run the world better than the Avengers did. It's also ultimately revealed that yes, this is the Squadron Supreme we knew about from another universe that were only captured and manipulated and tortured by Coulson, and ones like Blur just want to go home. While members like Hyperion are quite mournful about the world and life that they lost, in fact he even returns to the Daily Bugle to try and find his Jimmy Olsen-style friend Peter, only to find Spider-Man waiting for him. Then you got Nighthawk, who swears that this won't be the last we see of him and that he's gonna bring down the Avengers and bring back the old world even if he has to do it himself single-handedly. Now what about Mephisto, right? The real puppet master behind all of this? Well, he returns to hell with Phil Coulson's soul in tow. It would seem that this entire world-remaking Heroes Reborn scheme was Mephisto's weird proof of concept to all the other Mephistos from all the other universes. Up until now, all the different versions of Mephisto from across the 616 different multiverses have been battling with each other, but now Mephisto Prime hopes to show just how much one Mephisto can do on his own. Imagine if they had all united together into one great red council, what they could do. Oh, I get it as the comic comes to a close. Council of Red, Council of Reeds, haha, very clever, Jason Aaron. And so that was Heroes Return issue number 1, everybody, the grand finale of Heroes Reborn 2021, and overall I thought it was fine. It didn't knock my socks off, it didn't change my life. I'm not going to call it the greatest Avengers story I ever read, but I definitely had some fun with it. I feel like if you are a longtime reader of Aaron's Avengers series, then this is going to feel rewarding to you as they're moving the story with Mephisto and his machinations further along. But for me, as someone who was just popping in on this story, I feel like there was some real missed opportunities here. I really wanted more out of the Coulson Captain America showdown, and I hope we eventually do get more of that down the line. For what it's worth, I think this story has succeeded in putting the Squadron Supreme on more people's maps than never before. You'd be amazed how many people didn't even know Marvel had their own Justice League stand-in until this story came out, so I guess if that was the job Aaron was trying to complete, then hey, mission accomplished. And because it certainly seems like Marvel and DC as publishing houses aren't going to play nice with each other in my lifetime, at least, this is the closest we're going to get to an Avengers vs. Justice League sequel. Overall, I think I feel comfortable giving this one a 7.5 out of 10. I dug it. I don't know if I dug it enough to make me come back and start reading Aaron's Avengers monthly, but maybe some people will, and maybe that's all that matters.
Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest, that's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.